Hey, what's good with y'all, man? What's good? Thawahgabar, Black Authentic Truth. I mean, what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? I'm in the building, man. I haven't been going live. I didn't go live last Sunday. I said I had to go live. I wasn't feeling good, but I was like, man, I gotta, I got that itch, what I mean? And I know I got brothers and sisters that be rocking with me, and I be just trying to show out, you know what I'm saying? Show up and show out and just give this information, give my perspective, give the Black Authentic Truth, you know what I mean? As always, you know what I mean? Let me do one test real quick. Let me do a test. Let me do a test. Let me go like I'm watching it live. Yeah, we good. We good. Um, Audio sounds perfect. And yeah, we're gonna talk about all the things I put in the title. Sore winners. We're gonna talk about the sore winners of the world. We're gonna talk about this autistic child that was abused at school. I know some of y'all probably already heard of that story. Also, that trauma can be passed down. We already know that. If you've been rocking with me for a while, you already know. Like we've talked about that, not just here and also in class. Okay, and yeah, so like I ask before all the time, every time I go live on Sunday, I ask, how is your Sunday going? Because it is Sunday. I know tomorrow's a holiday, so the kids don't got to go to school. A lot of people don't got to go to work if you like a government employee. So you Gucci right now, you're not even preparing for Monday because Monday is an extra day off. As for me, I work for a very greedy company that has to get all of the money. So I will be at work tomorrow. Shout out to Kapah. Shout out to Yamash Pak, Renee Gaines, Shakat. Shout out to y'all. All right. While y'all do that, let me just I forgot to give me a bottle of water. I'm gonna grab me a bottle of water real quick. Shout out to you, Sister Madana. I'm going to play some music and then I'm gonna get me grab me a bottle of water real quick. So I'm gonna pause this live. All right. 1 second. I will be back. I said, y'all, I don't know if y'all heard that, but I said, I got to get some water because I got to clear my throat. Pause. Now everybody got to say pause now. Anytime you say something like that. I said, this new generation, man, I was like, we used to say stuff we never even thought about. Now everything is pause. Right? So let me check the comments real quick before we get going. All right. So I'm going to get right into it. Okay. I'm going to get right into it. Let me grab my notes because I'm going to go in order. I don't know why I put this over here. So I don't know how many people are familiar. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with Foolio. I think that'd be like more of this generation that are familiar with Foolio, the rapper that got unalived. Like I think it was like over a year ago, and they've been having the trials with the people that were involved in it, and I think it's like 5 people. I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so let me just screen share. And okay. Right.
A jury spared the lives of the 4 men convicted of killing Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio. That decision coming this afternoon after less than 2 hours of deliberations. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Kristen Barbarisi takes us inside the case.
This more than month-long trial wrapped up in this courtroom this morning with the defense attorneys making a final plea to the jury, asking them to spare the lives of these now convicted killers.
We, the jury, find Sean Gathright should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
One by one, relief washed over the faces of the men convicted of killing rapper Julio Foolio.
We, the jury, have unanimously found,
as the jury recommended life in prison, not the death penalty.
He was born into violence and instability.
Let me just stop this right here. It says one by one, relief came over these brother faces. This story is not really accurate, right? Because I know for a fact the light-skinned brother that they just had showed, let me just skip right back to that. The light-skinned brother, he actually broke down in tears. You understand? They all got life. Okay, he actually broke down in tears. So it was not, they were not thankful to not get the death penalty. Okay. Let me keep going.
without the possibility of parole.
One by one, relief washed over the faces of the men convicted of killing rapper Julio Foolio.
We, the jury, have unanimously found,
as the jury recommended life in prison, not the death penalty.
He was born into violence and instability. What chance did he have?
During the week-long penalty phase, the defense attorneys called witnesses to prove mitigating factors like the mental health conditions, traumatic upbringings, and good behavior behind bars outweigh the aggravating factors in this case.
He not only has been taking these classes, he has been teaching some of these classes to other inmates. He serves as a mentor.
In the end, jurors sided with the defense, rejecting the death penalty for all four men. Still, after the verdict, State Attorney Susie Lopez.
This is the thing, man. And you see all of those sad faces, okay? Now, these brothers decided to do what they did. And this is really for the YNs. This is who I'm speaking to right now, the YNs. I want a YN to hear what I'm saying. This is the end result of all of the following and acting tough and doing what you're going to do in the streets. This is the end result, okay? These brothers got life, meaning these brothers, these young men are in their 20s. I know the light-skinned one is 20 years old. They haven't even experienced life, but they came into a world where they were followers and following everybody and thinking they're tough. This is what all that toughness gets you. This is where that, being a stepper and walking people down gets you. Now, I don't got the video where it shows the brother crying, but he was crying in the courtroom because his life is over. That is the reality when you do the things that you do in the streets. That is the reality. That's the reality you don't even know about because you ain't never been through nothing. Your only consequences was disciplinary action from a teacher, disciplinary action from your mother or your uncle, your father, or whatever. You don't know what it's like to have to be in a cell for the rest of your life. But when that weight hits you, you're going to shed tears, brother. You're going to shed tears and you're going to recount your life. And you're going to recount the stupid stuff that you did and the decision that you made to be a part of this gang, this clique, this group of brothers that hunted another black man down and took his life. I feel bad for both parties. As someone who knows the truth, who knows the history of my people, I feel bad for not only the rapper Julio Fulio and his family, but I feel bad for these brothers' family who now have lost a son, a brother, etc., that ain't never getting out. In Florida, when you get life, it's life. You will die in prison. You will die in prison. You understand? Now, you heard what these defense attorneys were talking about these brothers. One of them was saying, what chance did he have? Look what he was born into. And I understand that. I understand that we are born into a curse a lot of times. We're going to talk about that, those curses and that trauma that is passed down. I understand as Black people, we are born into a cursed life where it seems hopeless and it seems like there's an obstacle here, there's an obstacle there, and everything you try doesn't work. And you're just trying to, get a leg up out of poverty. But we also have the ability to make our own choices. By the age, you around the age of 12, 13, you know right from wrong. Well, you should know right from wrong. You should. You should know right from wrong, but you have the ability to make a right or wrong choice. You have the choice to follow this group of people. You have the choice to not be a follower. You have a choice to say, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go that way in my life. I don't want that for my life. You understand? And I understand, like, some of us, we're born into a family of gangbangers. We're born into a family of criminals. We're born into a family of thieves, robbers, and murderers. We're born into it. I understand that. But at some point, you have to say, no, I don't want this. This is not what I want. And unfortunately, sometimes you don't get nobody in your life, in your family, that is doing something positive, that is telling you something positive and constructive and telling you not to do what everybody else is doing. And even they understood that, those defense attorneys. You see, they can really zero in on stuff. You know what I mean? It's funny how they can zero in on certain things when it's convenient. But this is the end result. The end result is either death or in jail for the rest of your life. Ask yourself, as a young Black person, you're seeing all of the destruction around you in your community and people making wrong choices and people dying and people killing and everything that's going on. And you have to ask yourself, is this life? Is this, okay, I understand this is how the hood go. I understand this is how it goes around my way. This is how it goes around my neighborhood. But ask yourself, is this really life? Am I supposed to just lose my life before I turn 25? I'm supposed to just fall in line with that. I'm just supposed to be a torpedo and go and throw my life away because of that. You got to think. And the answer should be, hell no, this ain't going to be my life. No, this is not going to be my life. I want more in my life. Okay? I want to live till I'm 80 years old, Lord willing. I want to live till 100 years old, Lord willing. I want to have a fulfilled life. I want to have children. I want to have grandchildren, Lord willing. This is ignorance. This is not what my life is supposed to be. And you look at these defendants. Let me get it one more time. These brothers in this case, okay. These are young men. Young men. Their life is gone for some foolishness. Okay? And so if you're a young Black male, you need to take heed to the things that are happening. It's not nothing cool. It's probably feel cool when you got enemies, you got, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you warring with your enemies in the street. It probably feel cool. But let me tell you, when you take life, you go into a place where there are no weapons. You understand? You're going to have to use these. And if you done did something to someone's loved one and they locked up, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. This is a story, short story. When I was locked up, I'll never forget this. I never forget this because it was just so shocking to me. But I remember the first time when I was locked up and we were going to court. And you have these jailhouse lawyers in jail, right? These people that they just know everything. They're telling you how you don't know anything, but they know everything and they've been around the block and they telling you everything that's going to happen. Yeah, you got this case. Let me see your charges. Oh yeah, you going to get out, boo, 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 boo. I remember being with some people and we went to court. And when you go to court, you don't see everybody until you get back on the bus to bring you back to the jail. So we get back to the jail, and I remember specifically this dude, excuse me, that was crying. And I was like, niggas was wondering, why are you crying? It's because he wasn't going home. He thought he was going to get released that day. And this is not even deep, but he wasn't. And he was crying. Imagine you're not going home for forever. Forever. Those grown men, they do cry in there. I'm a witness to it. You don't want that for your life. You don't. So let this be a lesson. This Julio Fulio case, let it be a lesson to somebody. This is the end result. It's either you're going to get caught now or you're going to get caught later, but you will get caught. You will get caught. You're going to get caught. There is no silver lining for the street life. There is no happily ever after for the street life. I've been in the streets. And I'm smart enough to look at what goes on and step back and look at it and say, you know what? This is not it. I'm talking to the young man. I'm talking to the YN. Be wise enough. Be smart enough to step back and look and see where you're going to end up. And I understand some people have already reconciled in their mind that, listen, I'm going to live and die for this shit. I'm going to live and die on, repping the hood. This is it. Fine. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to that person. I'm talking to the person who wrestles within themselves. I'm talking to the person who still has a sense of what right and wrong is. It still has a conscience. I'm talking to the young Black male like that. I understand you can say whatever. You can give a person all of the reasons why they shouldn't do something, and they still going to do it. The same way You can tell a child not to touch fire. They got to touch the fire. They got to touch the fire and get burnt to understand it's hot. And that's how a lot of our people is. They just got to touch the fire. And in this case, you got to keep going and not getting any consequences until you get the ultimate consequence. And you're in prison for the rest of your life. I hope you get something from that. Okay? What's your thoughts? So, I don't know if anybody's seen this video. This is crazy, but I'll just hold off and see if anybody wants to add anything to that. I got Shalot in here. What's good with you, Shalot? So let me put this story up, okay? Now, just to, let me see. Let me change this. So just to add to this before I play it, this is in Florida where you have a historically Black cemetery that was vandalized and desecrated. Tombstones were knocked down and people spray painted Trump and DeSantis on the tombstones. DeSantis being the governor of Florida, Republican governor of Florida, if I'm correct, okay? Just terrible.
I mean, extreme anger. That's my family and so many other families, individuals that I'm familiar with that are here, buried here. When you look and you see spray painted on a vault, DeSantis and Trump, it makes you wonder, is it politically motivated? And I tend to believe it is, but I can't prove that.
It looked like someone moved it because it was straight the last time I saw it. I just thought it was evil. It was evil and it's not right.
That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. For somebody to do something like that, it is evil. Like the sister said, I agree with her. It is evil to destroy, people's tombstones in a historical Black cemetery. Like, some racists did it, right? But if you think of it like this, damn, Black people can't even you can't leave Black people alone even when they're dead. It says historical. So, these tombstones is going back to the early 1800s, 1900s. We're talking about Black people that was enslaved and saw the end of slavery. That's just so evil, and it's heartbreaking and hurtful to the family of those people. Like, some low IQ Trump supporter did that. Now imagine Black people going and doing that. I mean, you can't even imagine it because it's just not nothing that we do. It's not nothing that we care to do. Black people don't care about desecrating tombstones of white people. Like that don't come across our mind. That's not something that we think about. Black people just want to live their life and be left alone, but we can't be left alone, even in death. Even in death, you just can't leave Black people alone. And many people don't know this because you don't Many people will see it as straightforward. They don't see it in a spiritual way. But you know, and my brothers and sisters that rock with me, we see it in a spiritual way. We see it as um, it's deeper than just the surface. That the fact that things like this still happen to this day, and that we, like Black people, we would never try to do nothing like that. This goes to show you that this is another example to show you that Black people are not like white people. Whereas, you know, white people are so racist and so racially prejudiced that they would do something like this, or that they can't just leave you alone from the racial spectrum. They just can't leave Black people alone. Black people we don't care about things like that. Who would spend time doing something like what Black person would even, I can't think of a Black person. I've never seen anything like that in my life where a Black person would do something like that, or you know, just feel this type of racial hatred towards another race, where they say, let's go into this cemetery where we know all white people are buried. Let's knock over some tombstones and let's paint Martin Luther King. I don't know. Like what is it? What would be the equivalent? Oh, let's paint Barack Obama on the tombstones. Let's spray paint Barack Obama on all the tombstones. Let's kick him over. Barack Obama was the best president. That's right. That's right. Shalai said, listen, we afraid of the cemetery. Black people don't be in the cemetery messing around. They don't be in the cemetery messing around. But that opposite thing doesn't happen with us. Like, you can pick and choose anything that's happening right now where they just go extra and overboard. Like, you don't see Black women as Karens. Why are you selling water here? Well, why are you selling lemonade here? I'm just being real. You don't see our people doing stuff like that. It never happens. What's another example? Let me think of another example where you don't see that something that white people do. Oh, a good one is what's current is Chud the Builder. You don't see Black people doing that, and I'm going to talk about that. Where academics cut Myron. Well, I'm gonna get to that, but you don't see Black people doing that either. Okay, you don't see Black people going out their way to walk up to white people and say something inflammatory. I was going to say the H word, you know, honky or cracker, but I don't think that is. You can't equivalate that to the N word. It just doesn't. It doesn't nowhere hold the same weight that the N word with the hard ER holds in the history behind it. There is no word that is the equivalent. And there is no thing that you typically could call a white person as far as an animal, like a chimpanzee, that is the equivalent. So, and the reason why is because it's just not the same. And Black people will never be walking up to white people trying to get them super angry, you know, and get a reaction for them with a camera with their phone like this. Hey, look at this. Hey, Leah, look at this honky. He's chimping out. Look at this honky behind me. Yeah, he's acting a fool. Black people would never do nothing like that. We don't even care. You know what I mean? We don't care to do nothing like that. It's not in us to be like that. Not at all. I hope I made a point. I think I made that point. And speaking, I'm gonna get to that. Let me get that video. Yeah, like Shala said, we just mind our business. You know what I mean? Granted, Black people have a lot of issues. We got problems and stuff like that, like everybody does, but we're not doing all of that extra stuff. We're not doing it. It's just not happening. Let me get this. Let me remove this. All right. So this is Myron. I don't know if y'all know who Myron is. He's Sudanese. He's been on the show Fresh and Fit. He's a complete moron, okay? And he is racist towards black people. And Myron was he was one of them Charlie's Kirk supporters where he tried to go to one of those events, the Turning Point USA events, and they turned him down because he is dark skinned. They turned him down and he was looking like he wanted to cry outside of one of those Turning Point events. But he is a supporter of Chud, and he says that everybody hates black people for the simple reason that Chud the Builder showed that black people get emotional off of a word, off of the N-word. They get emotional and start chimping out. But this is a discussion between him and academics where academics smoked him. He smoked the hell out of him, and I'm going to play it, all right? And I didn't expect this from academics because he's somebody that is, not A1 in my opinion either, but he smoked them on the point that he made. And let me get this for y'all.
Black people can't have accountability, bro. If you say chimp out, they're gonna hit you. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're perpetuating the stereotypes of everybody says, bro.
No,
oh, you're gonna chimp out and punches them. Like, bro, this is why people are tired of niggas, bro. I gotta keep it 1,000. This is why people are tired of black.
He said, this is why white people are tired of niggas. I gotta keep it 1,000 because you saying that black people can't chimp out. And listen to academics' point.
No, but Myron, you don't
give it accountability. Imagine a world where saying, "Hey, you gonna chimp out?"
Myron,
just punched. What?
Myron, I'm gonna tell you what world that is. The world is every time I've watched Sneeko, he's like, "Everybody hold hands, let's come together, let's pray to Allah, this and third." And then I looked over at Israel, they put his face on a bomb. Okay, so in the real world, I haven't seen Sneeko. Done nothing to nobody, but they'll put his face on a bomb and drop it on a city. That's way less than some guy saying a word and getting punched in the face. Yes, when you have words, even if it's not violent, other people meet those words. If they feel what you're saying is violent or disrespectful or offensive, they meet that with violence. Okay, it's not black people, because let me ask you a question. Do you think what that black guy did to Chud? I didn't know Israel was putting Sneeko's name on bombs. What do you think is worse? So when you say that only black people do that, it looked like other people do it too.
My bad, y'all. I just seen it where it said no sound. My bad. I had the sound. I had the bar off where I couldn't see y'all comments. But the point is, let me just go back and I'm gonna respond to this comment real quick. The brother said, if we refer to our people as niggas instead of nigga or niggas, it may start a chain reaction in a positive way. Niggas meaning king, speak positively, think positively, behaving positively. Coach Ron, I don't think it's just that. I think we should look at niggas positively because we are niggas. There's nothing wrong with the word. The etymology of the word, and you using the etymology of, I believe it's the Ethiopian term for that word. But going back to the word of that we use today, that goes back to the Latin, and it simply just meant black. Now, a lot of people carry that in their mind that, coming from slavery, we shouldn't use that word or it has a negative connotation. I understand that. But when you break down what the word actually means, it just simply meant black. You know what I mean? It can be black, king, whatever you want it to be. But I mean, you can't help the fact that you're always going to have some black people that relate that word to slavery. They relate it to slavery. They relate it to, negativity. And you hear black people say, yeah, that's why, you should never use that word. And you use that. Those words, that word has nothing to do with how people treat us. Even if we walked around and called each other kings and we replaced it with the word king or we replace it with the word, God, these people will still have their disdain and their racial hatred, and they will still act the same way, regardless of what we consider what is, a good word for us to use. But I appreciate your input. I appreciate your input, Coach Ron. Appreciate that. I'm sorry. Let me just get back to the point real quick. I'm sorry. Y'all, the sound was off, and I just wanted to make sure I make this point.
Let's pray to Allah, this and third. And then watch Sneeko. He's like, everybody hold hands. Let's come together. Let's pray to Allah, this and third. And then I looked over Israel. They put his face on a bomb.
So y'all heard that where academics is making a comparison. He's saying Sneeko is praying to Allah. He's praying to Allah. Allah is the God of the Palestinians. Israelis hear that and they put his face on a bomb. So what's worse? This guy is saying words that they react to and they put his face on a bomb to drop on Palestinians to kill them, or Chud the Builder using the N-word, hard ER, and a black man hits him, punches him in the face. What's worse? He smoked Myron with that point. Okay, he smoked him with that.
Okay, so in the real world, I haven't seen Sneeko done nothing to nobody, but they'll put his face on a bomb and drop it on a city. That's way less than some guy saying a word and getting punched in the face. Yes, when you have words, even if it's not violent, other people meet those words. If they feel what you're saying is violent or disrespectful or offensive, they meet that with violence.
They meet it with violence. You can't say or dictate how somebody is going to react to certain words and phrases in a certain way you say them to them. We're talking about the N-word that is intimately tied into the negative racist history of America. And you say that black people should just say, oh, he's saying the N-word. It's just a word. I'm not going to react to it. I don't feel anything about it. It's a white man calling me the hard ER. And he's saying like I'm a monkey too. I'm not going to react to it. No, all people will react to certain words that trigger them with violence. This should be elementary, but I see with Trump supporters and white supremacists, they try to rewrite history and they try to make things seem as though you are supposed to react a certain kind of way at all times, when that has never been the case in human history. Now, if somebody goes and says a derogatory term to if a German goes and says a derogatory term, y'all know the one that starts with a K, to a Jewish person, are they supposed to react in a way like they act like they don't hear it, or they say, oh, I'm not going to react at all? It's just a word. It's just a word. I'm not tripping. It's not a big deal. No. They are prone to react with violence. They are prone to be agitated. They are prone to, react to that because it's something that's tied into the history of them in the Holocaust. That's the same thing. And that's why what Myron is saying makes no damn sense. And I was surprised as I seen this. I said, damn, academics smoked him with this point. Let me see if we can get some more out of it.
Okay, it's not black people, because let me ask you a question. Do you think what that black guy did to Chud, I didn't know Israel was putting Sneako's name on bombs. What do you think is worse? So when you say that only black people do that, it looked like other people do it too. I think I could Google it. They put Sneako's name on a bomb, and Sneako I've never seen him physically harm anybody that's Jewish. But you know why? He got the rhetoric that they don't like. It's offensive to them. And in their response to that offense is not by saying, you know what, we're mature. They're saying, put his
look at Myron.
Name on a bomb and let's go kill some people. That's true, right?
They put my name on a bomb too.
They think the same about you. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that
they put his name on the bomb because he says offensive things against Israel. He says things that he speaks for the Palestinians. Duh. But what's worse? He's speaking for the in defense of the Palestinians against Israel, using words, and they put his face on the bomb. They put Sneako's face on the bomb because they say pray to Allah, the God of the Palestinians. What's worse? You have Chud the Builder that is saying inflammatory, racist words to black people, literally to make them upset. And then some brother got upset and punched him in the face. What's worse? Or what do you think was going to happen? It's the same thing is the point. It's the same thing. People react to stuff that is offensive to them. You're going to say something to somebody knowing full well it's offensive to them, and they're going to react. Sometimes they're going to react violently. Okay, that's just the truth of it.
Saying it's only black people that are triggered to violence. Well, what about the Jewish people that you have rhetoric that don't go along with them? They put y'all names on bombs and inflict violence with it. It's not just black people. It's everybody when it comes to offense. People just think that black people are pussy and they should not be able to do anything when they're offended. But when you offend Jewish people, your name is on a bomb.
Okay,
right?
So let me just be.
You think black people should just not do anything and be docile? And, you could just call them the N-word and they don't do anything. Just stand there and just look at you. While you go on a rant calling black people monkeys and niggers, and they shouldn't do anything. But yeah, you say something crazy to the Jewish people, they put your face on a bomb. And black people are the one that don't have no impulse control. Black people are the one that are emotional. Black people are the ones that's chipping out. No, it sounds like everybody chimps out when you say something offensive to their race. Yeah, that's what it seems like. No, that's really what it is. Not what it seems like, what it really is. Yeah, so any white supremacist that is saying, oh, black people don't got no impulse control, they this, they that, it's just a word. You fall out and put your hands on people and be violent over a word. That's your race. Your whole race is like that. No, every race is like that. Every race is like that. And I'm glad academics brought out that point. Every race is like that, including the race that your race is cowards to, that pays them billions of dollars every year and pumps up their defense fund. Yeah, America pays Israel all that money, and they're just like that. They with all of that. And so is black people. Don't ever think that you can come up to black people and say something offensive like the N-word with the hard ER and then compare them to monkeys. You're really, really playing with your life. And I say that lightly because you don't know how a black person is going to react. At the very least, they'll beat the brakes out of you. At the very least, you're going to be running because they're going to be beating the brakes off of you. You understand? Now, me personally, like I think I see it and I see the play. I notice the play. You know what I mean? But at the very least, you won't get a reaction. It ain't going to be the reaction you thought you was going to get. And that's why Chud the Builder walked around, you know, with a gun, a loaded gun, and with bear mace, because he already knew what he was doing. It was premeditated. He already knew what he was doing. He already knew who he's coming to are people that ain't got time for no games. Especially when you're trying to call them the N-word and trying to compare them to monkeys. He already knew what time it was. So he came prepared. And it shows premeditation. You know what I mean? I'm responding to you. Coach Ron, you said, well, we're not black, my G. Your glasses are black, so is your shirt. Your skin is melanated, which is indigenous. We change the category title. Then it will be spoken without question. What I want to say to that is we use the terms that people are familiar with. Of course, I'm not black like my shirt, and a white person is not white like this piece of paper. And so we use terms that we're familiar with. Of course, you know, there's other distinctions that we can categorize ourselves as. And, you know, we're really different shades of brown, from the darkest shade of brown, chocolate brown, to the lightest shade. That's really what we are. But, you know, the world we live in, that's what categorizes us as is. And so from that's what we say, you know what I mean? And, you know, everybody gets the point. Like, so for instance, when I say black and brown people, I'm talking about black people. Oh, damn, I'm talking about black people, and I'm talking about niggas, and I'm talking about what people know as Mexicans, right? But really, Mexicans are a lighter shade of brown. Black people are a darker shade of brown. But it's just the concepts and the words we use in order to you know, be clear with people, so people know. I can tell you one thing though. When we say black, anybody says a black person, typically people ain't thinking African. They thinking Black Americans off top. Now you can determine why that is, or you know, but I don't know if y'all ever noticed that typically when people say black people, they're talking about Black Americans. They're not talking about Africans. They're not talking about any other melanated group. What do y'all think? Why do y'all think that is? That's just the question I'm gonna put out there. All right. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going. So I think I said I think I made the point. I made the point about that. I thought that was pretty good. That, you know, because I see academics and he just be like saying stuff I barely pay attention to, right? But when I seen this, I was like, ooh, he cut the hell out of this Sudanese. Now a good I forgot that. A good example is right here, Myron. Myron is dark skinned and he gets treated in certain spaces. He gets treated like he's a nigga, a black person. He's a Sudanese. Everybody that is skin folk ain't kinfolk. Everybody that looks like they us, and just because you're melanated don't mean you're the same people. You don't got the same spirit. Myron done been in America for a while. He don't got the spirit of a nigga. He don't got the spirit of a black man. You know what I'm saying? He got the spirit damn near of a white man. But his people are Sudanese. You know what I mean? But he done came over here and he is able to move around when it suits him. He can be black. But when it doesn't suit him on his platform, he's a white supremacist. Literally. He's a white supremacist saying niggas, this is why don't nobody like niggas. Chud the Builder showed, well, the reason why don't nobody like niggas because they react to a word as though nobody else is supposed to react to a word. I don't know what the derogatory term for Sudanese people are, but I bet you if I go to Sudan and I go over there telling them a derogatory term, I bet you they'll whoop the hell out of me. I bet you they'll hop on my head so quick. And I'm, as a black American, I go to Sudan and I'm telling them calling them whatever. I come into Sudan, this is Myron's people, with the camera, live streaming on Kick. That's how they live stream with the Sudanese people. And I'm pretty sure they're peaceable people. I'm pretty sure they're, a nice people. They probably be smiling in my camera. And I'm calling them whatever the derogatory term is for them. I'm pretty sure they get wind to it and they beat my damn ass. But yeah. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to drop that. Appreciate everybody I appreciate y'all brothers, that's interacting and everything. Now, let me get this story, man. This story really, it's upsetting. It's upsetting.
Allegations involving a young elementary student are now raising urgent questions for JCPS.
Addie Minor spoke with the family today. She's live tonight at Field Elementary with what they say was caught on hidden camera video. Addie?
Vicki, Rick, it was a heartfelt plea from a worried mother today as Tiffany Lee described what she says happened to her 7-year-old son Samaj here at Field Elementary this week. And now the question she's asking to JCPS is how this was allowed to happen. And I want to give you a quick warning. Some of the video you're about to see and hear might be disturbing.
Get off me now. Get off me now.
A disturbing video.
Get over. Get over.
In which Tiffany Lee says her worst suspicions came true.
My son has severe nonverbal autism. He cannot speak, but I can.
The video you're watching was recorded by a secret body camera Lee says she hid in her 7-year-old son Samaj's ponytail. After she became suspicious, her son was being abused at Field Elementary.
This all started because over the course of months, I was flooded with calls and complaints about my child's behavior. Behavior that was not typical, not normal, and not something as his parents we had ever seen in our sweet child.
Samaj is severely autistic and nonverbal. Lee says he claps or acts out when he feels threatened, something you can hear in the video.
Get off me now, boy.
To actually hear one of our Jefferson County Public School teachers say, "Get off of me," that within itself is a concern.
Metro Council members Tammy Hawkins and Andrew Owens joined Lee to shed light on the allegations on Friday.
Our role is not to determine conclusion, but to ensure that when concerns are raised, they are examined fully.
We reached out to JCPS for comment, and a spokesperson says they are taking the allegations very seriously. But to ensure the process is as transparent and accurate as possible, they must follow their policies and procedures, and that the situation is under investigation.
We trusted his school to protect him, to care for him, and to treat him with dignity. Instead, he was harmed, silenced, and failed by the very people who were supposed to keep him safe.
Now, it is important to note that it is against JCPS policy to record any video inside of the classroom. So once that video camera was discovered on Samaj, JCPS police were called here to Field Elementary. But JCPS says they are now fully investigating what happened on Wednesday, and they say that staff member in question is now prohibited from being on the premises here at Field Elementary.
This is terrible. Now I'm going to let me play the sister. She did a video herself. I'm gonna play this video. Okay, let me pull it up.
See the actual footage. In the actual footage, it's in his hair, so you can't see it clearly. But I can see this man going.
That's the teacher at the bottom. Okay, so at the bottom, that's the teacher.
It's in his hair, so you can't see it clearly, but I can see this man going towards my son, his glasses, his face, Robert. They don't want me to say his name. His name is Robert Ransdale. He was coming close to my son, and everything after that sounded like aggression. It sounded like a fight with a grown man that is upset with another grown man, and my child is 10 years old, and he cannot speak for himself. I watched my son for weeks come home every day from school, depressed and sad, mad. His attitude done changed. They got me thinking that my baby It's some animal that he's hurting him. He's hurting these people. But they hurt my baby. They had me under the impression, but I knew better. I knew better. And they want me to shut up and not say his fucking name on the nose. All I can do is just keep praying and not being upset. But I'm mad as hell. People are saying to me, don't say nothing without the facts. What's the facts? The fact is that I put a camera on my son because I knew something was wrong. This is me putting the camera in his head. Wait a minute, boy. Because people don't believe. How can you put a camera in his head? I did. And did.
So it's a video. She's showing a video of her actually installing it. She's installing the camera in the head, and she did it was running while she was putting it in her son's head.
I'm trying to make sure that it's good, okay? I took it in my hands to put a camera on my child because I have to be his eyes, his ears, everything. And I just paid for the camera. Didn't even know if it was going to work. Didn't even really know if the instructions was going to be accurate enough because as a woman, sometimes I don't know.
My heart just goes out to this sister and, and her husband, because in the press conference, she said, as the parents, they didn't, know that this was happening, right? But there's some things to point out in what she said. She basically said that she was told not to say anything on camera. So that news clip that I played, she was told not to say his name on camera, but she said it right here, and identified who he was. And you can just hear the hurt and the anger because her son is nonverbal. And I'm just going to go through some of your comments. And it's serious, and I was trying not to laugh. The hills have eyes looking at us. He looked like he need to be in special classes. Cockeyed ass. Like, y'all, I was trying to keep it together, okay? She said, they worried about his name being put out, but what about the trauma that baby has to live with now? He will never get over this, right? They be worried about the wrong damn things. I think we all can agree. They be worried about the wrong damn things. And Renee said, I'm glad she knew that was not how her child acted. Yeah, because she said they had her feeling like her child was an animal, like he was a problem in class. The whole time, it is the teacher that is roughing him up, treating him wrong, treating him, like a little animal. Shala said, I work with nonverbal autistic students who go home and tell their parents everything that happens at school. We had a similar situation where a parent came to my school with concerns of verbal abuse. Wow. Exactly. Okay. Looked like he got more than one teacher in his class. Yeah, it does. And so, you never know what's going on with your child. You put your trust in these people that are over your children. And you know what? I just gonna say it here. I feel like schools should have cameras all around, period. We live in a time right now where cameras are everywhere. If a camera is everywhere on street corners and light poles and all of that, cameras should be in classrooms, at least with the little children, at least with the children that are special education, the children that are nonverbal. It should be a camera there. Why not? Why not? To protect from that. People act way different when they know a camera is around. You can't, gauge human behavior. But I know this for sure. People act different when a camera's around. There are cameras that are posted in places that don't even work. And that's because studies have shown that when people see a camera, they think it works and they're going to act accordingly, And it's just so sad to hear that. And you almost feel like, it's a helpless situation where these people are more concerned about the image of the school. They're more concerned about the trust of the public than her telling the truth. And then they said in that clip, I don't know if y'all caught that, in that clip of the organization over the school, they said it's against the law to record, in schools. And when they found out, they called the police and they're doing a full investigation, and the teacher is barred from coming to the school. But had she not did that, she never would have knew the truth. And who knows how long that would have went on. How long that would have went on. You talking about somebody that can't talk, and their only way of communicating is clapping and, different things. But, for people who have children that can talk, like a child is going to say everything. Being verbal is such a big leap from not being able to talk. And how was your day? And what happened to you? Who did this to you? What happened? Why you sad? What's wrong? Why you mad? Why you acting like this? You never act like this. Like she said, they had her feeling like her son was an animal. And the whole time, it's probably not, I'm gonna look at it like this. If he's doing that in classroom, I'm sure there's other people like somebody said, and I'm sure somebody else seen how he was being treated. And they're just not saying anything right now. They've been schooling Black people, but we still uneducated. Shall I say, we have cameras in every classroom. Renee said, and that other lady that was on the news with her, Tammy, she doesn't play, and she is not going to let that go. Okay, so let me just give y'all a backdrop. That's my sis, Renee. She lives in Kentucky. So she's talking from a place of, knowing about or hearing about people. Okay. And yes, the main teacher went to the bathroom when Cockeye did that to him. Oh, okay. So Cockeye, the Hills with Eyes, the Hills with Eyes is the help. They'll lock the parents up for that. The Hills with Eyes are the help. Okay. I just thought that I should bring that out because I feel like, this story, I didn't really see it like that. I'm sure some people seen it, but and definitely if you live out there, you heard about this story. But we entrust our children. You would hope that your children is being treated with kindness, in the professionalism that you think in your mind. Like how many children do you think we probably can't even imagine? It's kind of like this. When it comes to how law enforcement treated Black people, right? We didn't know until somebody caught it on camera with Rodney King. Okay, they caught it on camera with Rodney King, and cell phones came out. People had cameras on their cell phones, and they got more police brutality. And you have to think like how much more of it was going on back when there was no cameras, or when people didn't think there were no cameras, or better yet, when there were institutions that are not equipped with cameras, right? Because obviously, I don't know for sure, but the fact that she had to use her own, genius and put a camera in his ear to catch something, maybe there's no cameras at that institution. But imagine all the children that are being treated this way, that may be nonverbal, that may be special needs, that are looked over by these people. I feel like these people need a goddamn psychiatric test every damn month. They need to really screen the people they put in charge of children. We're supposed to live in a civilized society. Like some people you can look at and say, I can tell he got all his marbles. He got sense. Some people you can look at and tell that. But there's some people like this cockeyed bastard right here that you have to do a double take. You got to do a double look. Matter of fact, you don't have a wife. I'm not saying that he don't. I'm assuming. You don't have a wife. You don't have a regular life. We got to look more deep into who you are. We got to be careful with who we decide to hire and put around these children, because these children are helpless. They can't help themselves. They can't speak for themselves. Like his mother said, I have to be on top of things and vigilant. I'm paraphrasing, because I am his eyes and his ears. I am his voice. So shout out to that mother and that father. You know what I mean? I hope they get justice. I hope this is not swept under the rug, because I understand it's not an easy job being a regular teacher. And to be a teacher that is over special needs, I would assume that is very, very hard. And, it takes a lot. You have to be an actual person that is dedicated. You know what I mean? And you got to be a person that is passionate about what you do. But I hope the best comes out for that family. And I hope that in some way, some form of fashion, that young man can heal. He's 10 years old, but I just hope that, that's a terrible memory. That's a terrible trauma in which I'm going to go into. All right. She said, Kama said, has she not done, I'm assuming you're saying that, has she not done that, she probably would have gotten a call about her son being rushed to the ER. Oh, that's terrifying. That's, but it's the truth. How many Black children have ended up in the ER or dead, and no one knows how it happened? I was going, okay. Shalat said, and he's in that field, he said, you have to have compassion and lots of patience. I definitely agree with you, because I got to have a lot of damn patience with my own kids. But when it's somebody else's kids, I'm going to have to add tons of compassion. You know what I mean? And that's noteworthy. That is commendable. Coach Ron said, I work with kids on the spectrum here in Georgia. We get heavy screenings before being hired, and we get trained on communication with them and redirecting situations without losing our cool. Oh man, that's spectacular, Coach Ron. That's spectacular. That's really, really good to hear. You know what I mean? And that's the type of education that, to be honest with you, Coach Ron, that's the type of education they need in law enforcement, because they don't know. All they know is to pull their gun and pop a nigga. But that's spectacular on the serious side. Renee said, always listen to your heart when it comes to your children. Yes. What they call it, intuition. Always listen to that when it comes to your children. Whatever it is. It might be something good, it might be something bad, but always listen to that. All right. Now, this is the last clip I have, last topic I want to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about trauma. Okay, trauma being passed down through generations. And I'm going to play a little clip and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Move this. Move from studio.
There's no getting around the fact that bad things happen to people, things that are often outside of their control. And the psychological effects of wars, natural disasters, and other types of violence and accidents don't just go away when the war ends. They can leave people traumatized. Many people who are exposed to traumas like war get diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, where thoughts or anxieties about the events can plague them in other parts of their lives, and seemingly benign things can trigger a fear response. But hopefully, once a war goes down in history and a few generations pass, we'll be free of the trauma, right? Unfortunately, it's not so simple. Trauma can affect future generations too. For example, in a study of 100 Holocaust survivors, researchers found that their children were more likely to get a PTSD diagnosis, even though they didn't report any more traumatic experience in their lives than a similar control group did. What they did get was stories from their parents, really distressing stories. And hearing about threats to your family, even in the past, can be traumatic on its own. But that might not be the only explanation. Trauma could also be inherited biologically, sort of like what gets passed on through our genes. And since a big part of understanding people is knowing about the different factors that can affect their thought processes and behaviors, psychologists want to figure out how this works. So far, we do have some evidence that trauma can be passed biologically from one generation to the next.
So, this is the thing. And this is, I'm using this clip because, I just wanted to, give a basis and a foundation of what we're talking about and the basis of it. Now, this was about 2 or 3 years ago where they came out and basically said that trauma can be passed down from a parent to an offspring. And what they used were people who had endured the Holocaust. And they said basically on a genetic level, the DNA had changed from the parent to the offspring. Basically what he just said, okay? And so as I sat there and I listened to it and I understood it, I said, well, if trauma can be passed down, or they saying that trauma was passed down from people who had endured the Holocaust to their offspring, then what more from the people who endured the transatlantic slave trade, right? You see, these things matter when it's other groups. When it comes to Black people, those things no longer matter. They are no longer factors in the reason why you are the way you are. Okay. Dr. Joyce DeGruy wrote a book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, where she talks about the reasons why Black people act a certain kind of way in relationship to white people. Okay. And so I know, like, when I just look at a Black community, and you know this too, there are certain reactions that you have when it comes to certain situations when dealing with the world or dealing with the white world. And one of them I would use is law enforcement. Okay, I'll use law enforcement for an example. So when it comes to police, a lot of times when you are interacting with police, or maybe you don't even have a reason, or there's no reason why they pulled you over, right? Everything is good. Your license is good. You've never been in trouble, nothing like that. You still feel a level of anxiety around police, right? You still feel a level of, terror around police when you don't even have a reason to feel that. You don't have no reason to feel that way, but you still feel it. How many times has that happened to you? I was going to say, raise your hand like I'm in class, but how many times have you been in that situation? All right. You have people that are squeaky clean, Black people that you have Black children. I just seen a video with a Black child that was crying when a white police woman was trying to talk to her. She was just afraid of her for whatever reason. We don't know. But the white woman was so kind and so considerate. The white police officer talking, kind and sweet. And the little Black girl was terrified of her. It's just, crying, you know? This is what it means where the trauma can come through the genes. And for 400 years, you're talking about 400 years of dealing with white people and all of the traumas, the rapes, the violence, the lynchings, the burnings, the what you doing around here? Why you here? The the destruction of towns and black establishments. That plays a part in how black people are raised and how they interact with white people to this very day. How can I say that and be definitive in what I'm saying? Because white people are saying that Holocaust victims suffer from the same thing. They have substantiated it scientifically and biologically. And the Holocaust only lasted for what? A few years, 12 years? Somebody tell me how long the Holocaust lasted. Somebody. I'm not an expert on it. I believe it's between 6 and 12 years. I believe so. Let me just Google it real quick. Let me Google it. How long did the Holocaust last? 12 years. 1933 to 1945. So you take that 12 years, and they have determined that the genes, the DNA can be changed from the parent to the offspring from trauma in that amount of time. Now add that to 400 years of degradation, of terrorism, of rapings, of lynchings, of burnings, of hard bondage. And now the trauma just disappears with black people. Black people are just, they're an anomaly. That's how they are. That's just how they are. They're just natural born criminals. That's what they are. They're natural born criminals. You see, we don't get those type of considerations about why we behave a certain kind of way, or why we act a certain kind of way, or why we're apprehensive to certain groups. We don't get that consideration. It's okay. It's okay. You know, we got intellects and people in our community that do recognize and can articulate what is going on with our people. Okay. Not only that, we know our history now, but this is something that needs, like the brother said, Coach Ron said, yes, sir, it can be passed down. It needs to be talked about more and taken seriously. Yes, it needs to be taken seriously. As seriously as a black man that's on trial for killing another black man, and the defense attorney is saying, well, he never had a chance. Look at the world he was brought into. Look at the life he was brought into. He was brought into a life of dysfunction. Look at his parents. Look at his mother. Look at his father. He never had a chance. That's a small picture. But when you talk about us as a group, us as 40 million people in America, what's the big picture? What's the big picture? Like they never think like, damn, maybe black people, when they're born from a child, they need to be in therapy. They need to be looked at. You know, they need to be assessed. Because we know that they can be born this way. They can be born, with these, these feelings and these, these attributes that are not normal, that are not natural. They can feel a certain way about people and situations and being placed in certain places that are not natural. They come from past generations. It's in their DNA. And all I'm saying is maybe we should look at it. Maybe we should consider it. Maybe we shouldn't be so hard on our people and for the ignorant and stupid things that they do. Because maybe they're dealing with something more that we can't see, the trauma that we can't see. I'm not no specialist. I'm not no scientist. I'm not no biologist. I'm not nobody. Like I'm a scholar. I just research. I just read. I just, I look and I search things up and I read things. And I think about the condition of our people. And when I heard that, I said, well, damn, if Jewish people can get that type of consideration, well, I damn sure know Black people can get that consideration. And if it's not by them, it'll be by me. It'll be by other people like me that say, yeah, this needs to be talked about. This needs to be studied. This needs to be looked out. It needs to be considered whenever they try to say that Black people are prone to criminality. It needs to be considered when you look at Black communities versus other communities and say, well, they do crime and their neighborhood is destroyed and they only want to rap and do sports and twerk. Maybe all of these things need to be considered to how we got to this point. Okay. The sister said, pass down stories and experiences from our parents and grandparents, our elders, and what they done to us, our family members. Yes. And it's like, I remember my first time encountering law enforcement. I think I was probably like 4 years old. And it's a very vivid picture in my mind, like a memory. And I just remember me being fearful of them, because I'm short, I'm a child, I'm looking up at, it was 4 white men in uniform. And from what I remember, the white older guy was being nice, talking nice, but I was still distrustful of him. You know what I'm saying? I was still distrustful of him. Like I didn't trust him. These 3 white men in these black uniforms, I'm looking up and he's saying nice things, asking me questions like, you know how it is. What's your name? Yeah, you like teddy bears? Would you know how they talk to children. No reason, the way they talk is no reason to give you that feeling, but it's already a built-in feeling. It's not like I was big enough to have been gamed up on, the relationship between police or the relationship between Black and white people. I knew nothing of that. It's just an internal feeling. And you think about that internal feeling that Black people have when dealing with white people. You think about code switching when they go into the workplace, right? You think about all of these things that we do, and really it's to survive. But think about your ancestors that were doing the same thing to survive on a plantation. I don't know. It's just a thought, y'all. It's just a thought. But anyway, man, I'm going to wrap it up with that, man. I'm going to wrap it up that I appreciate brothers and sisters for rocking with me. I appreciate it. Let me just give y'all some shout outs because, y'all were interactive. Brothers talking to me. Shakat, Renee Gaines, Kapa, Yamash Pak, Sister Madana, Shalat, the real F2O, shout out to you. Kyle Masboff, Coach Ron, shout out to you, man. I appreciate the input. Who else? Ron Coleman, always rocking with me. Shout out to you, always here. Michael Foster, always rocking with me. Shout out to you. Yeah. And Magarwar 144, shout out to you, brother. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. Yeah, this was a nice little build. This is a nice little live. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth, man. This is Sunday, man. I'm gonna try to get the best out of Relax because, like I told y'all in the beginning of the live, I work for a greedy company that wants all of the money. So I will be at work tomorrow. But for y'all that don't gotta go to work, I hope y'all enjoy tomorrow. All right. And with that, man, I see y'all next time. Peace. Y'all stay safe.
Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Make sure you tap into Black Authentic Truth for your latest news. It's great information, baby. Bomb Squad!
It's Tariq Nasheed right here in Los Angeles, making it do what it do, man. Y'all check out Black Authentic Truth. Get some real good game on YouTube. Black Authentic Truth, man. Check it out, man. Real good information.
Man, you know what's going on. It's your boy Geechee Gotti. I'm rocking with Black Authentic Truth. You want to learn something? Tune in, man. Get your knowledge up. Get your history up, man. Know about something, man. You know what time it is, man. Geechee Gotti, Black Authentic Truth, man. Like and subscribe.
Black man, I have an obligation to my race of people, not to no other race or no other nationality, just to black people.
And you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that white Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs.
This is Black Authentic Truth. Now, I forgot something, y'all. If you're still rocking, this is something that I totally forgot, okay? And what I forgot, give me a second. So, what I totally forgot, y'all, is the part where, I'm sorry. What I totally forgot is this, okay? Sore winners. And I left this out, and I need to talk about this because this is a part of my title and I want to get it out. The thing about this is when I was talking about Myron and I was talking about academics cutting him about Chud the Builder, right? I want y'all to really think about this. Chud the Builder and what he was doing, and he has so many supporters. I believe they raised, hundreds of thousands of dollars for Chud the Builder, right? It lets you know where you stand and what you're up against. Okay. But these people, they won. Okay. They won. These are the people who subjugated your people, black people. Okay. Jim Crow laws, civil rights fight, lynchings, burnings, the list goes on. And these people won. They won. They won. So why are they so mad now? What the hell is the problem now? You have people like Chud the Builder. You have people that are constantly concerned with what is going on with black people. What are black people doing? How they walking, how they talking, what they eating, what they drinking. And they won. The point is that they are sore winners. Like, why are you concerned about black people so much? They're sore winners. You won. You did all of that, and you still hate the people that you victimize. I want you to think about that. How do you hate? Let's put it in perspective. A person that robs a person, or they rape a person, or they do something to a person, and you still angry at the person you victimize? You're angry at the person that you hurt. You stabbed them up. They survived. They still living. They had children. You hate them, and you hate the children that they had. You just can't get them off your mind. You hate the people who are the victim at your hands. They are sore winners. You get what I'm saying? That's what I want to bring out. They are sore winners. They're sore winners. Like, really think about that. Like, you victimize, like a person that victimized a woman, sexually assaults a woman, he victimized her, he basically kills her, because when a woman is sexually assaulted, she died inside. And then every day you see this woman and you just hate her. Ooh, look at that B. She probably on welfare. She probably finna go steal something. Why she live in my neighborhood? I can't even understand how y'all don't see what I'm saying, and like how it's insanity, right? These people are insane to be angry at the people they victimize. I really think they're angry because, like, black people, we do what we want to do now. I really think they just want black people to be in slavery again. That's what I really like. They just, they can't let it go. That you free, you can do what you want to do, you can walk around, you can be where you want to be, you can live where you want to live, you can eat what you want to eat, you can have a business where you want to have your business at, and they just cannot stand it. They are sore winners. It is a complex. It is a mental complex with them. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out. So now I'm gonna get back to wrapping up the show. So thank y'all, Shalat, Kapah. Thank y'all for rocking with me. And y'all, you definitely right. You definitely right. They know that we're going to cross the finish line. Listen, we gonna cross the finish line. We gonna cross the finish line. You know what I mean? We can't be stopped. We just cannot be stopped. And they are sore winners. They done won and they still upset. Look, we haven't even won, and we having a good time. We partying, we barbecuing, and they ain't invited to the barbecue, but we having a good time. But they done won. They done won. They done showed the world they are the winners. Air superiority, biggest military, world superpower, and they are sore winners. And they just cannot get black people out of their mind. But with that, I'll see y'all next time. All right. I'll see y'all soon. Y'all take care, man. Nothing but, love to all my brothers and sisters. Peace. This is Black Authentic Truth.